Hey there! Today I'll share some fun and easy ways that you can make nature study part of your homeschool. I'm Jenny with Kids Learning for Life, and you might be wondering, what is nature study? Nature study is simply going outside and studying nature with your kids. There are all sorts of different supplies that you could buy to enhance your nature study, which I'll get to some of those later, but really all you need is a notebook and a pencil. Oh, and nature. I think the idea of nature study might scare some people a bit just because it doesn't come with a lesson plan and it's not a curriculum. There's no detailed instructions on how to do it. Plus, when you're out in nature and your kids are asking you tons of questions, you as the parent might not have all the answers. But this is the beauty of nature study. You as a family can appreciate nature together and also learn all sorts of things that you never would have thought of before. So what exactly does it look like to do nature study? The first step and the easiest step is to grab a notebook and a pencil and just head outside. Let your kids start to roam freely in nature. There's really no rules to this. You can let them touch what they want, smell, feel, everything. Just make sure it's not anything poisonous or dangerous. So where the notebook and pencil come into play is that your kids are supposed to take little notes or sketch what they see. So they can either do this while they're outside or they can collect items and bring them inside and they can color the pictures of what they brought in. And this can be either big picture or small picture. So this could be an entire landscape, and it could be the big tall trees, the sky, all of that, or it can be a small picture like acorns or leaves. And something to keep in mind with nature study, and especially the drawing aspect of it, is to draw what you see, not what you think you see. And this does teach the skill of observation, which I think is really important. If you can make it work in your homeschool, nature study should be done pretty consistently. It shouldn't be a big event every time you let them do this. It should be done at least, I want to say weekly, just to make sure that it's a habit that you as a family are creating. This is really a time to let your kids' minds wander, which is really fun. They will come up with all sorts of questions, and you do not need to rush to answer these. Let them kind of do some of the work on their own. Let them observe. Let them kind of hypothesize and come up with some potential conclusions on their own, and that kind of teaches them the scientific process kind of organically, which is cool. Nature study is a time without textbooks and without technology. That means no phone. Maybe you could bring like a field guide if you have like a guide to the birds in your area or the trees, but you don't need to bring any actual special science textbook with you. This is a time just to observe and reflect, and you don't necessarily need to be answering all the questions right then and there. The point is really just to start to feel grounded in your own surroundings and become familiar with and inspired by the nature that surrounds you. Now that you have a better understanding of what nature study is and what it looks like to do nature study together, you might be wondering, what materials do I need to do this? Like I said, really all you need is a notebook and a pencil and nature, but I will go ahead and list some other fun little supplies that might enhance your nature study experience. A book that might inspire you in your nature study is the Handbook of Nature Study. This book is in the free domain, so you can go ahead and print out the free version that's available online, but I highly recommend the version done by Living Book Press, which I will link to below. It is absolutely beautiful and just so comprehensive. It teaches you about different life forms that you will find out in nature, and it shows examples and it has pictures and all that, so it's really fun. It also might be fun to have something like binoculars on hand. This is great if you're particularly focusing on trees or birds. If your kids are interested in bugs or little seeds, then I recommend one of these little magnifying glass bug viewer things. I saw it in our local homeschool store. It's really cool, and kids just love putting all sorts of things in there and magnifying them so they can see them really up close. And then again, I think I mentioned it earlier, but you can also buy a nature journal. These are actually pretty affordable, and I have one right here. This one was it was less than $10 on Amazon, and I will go ahead and link to a copy in the description below. This is really cool. It has all sorts of pages where they can take notes and do all sorts of observations here. And it also has in the front certain plants and animals that they might see while they're out doing nature study. So this is really cool, but like I said, not absolutely necessary. Now, as you can see, I'm kind of surrounded by nature here at my home, but I know the vast majority of people don't have land that they can do nature study on. They might just have a small yard or no yard at all. And a little bit of backstory for me, I actually started doing nature study with my oldest daughter at our previous house, which was in a city. So I didn't have all this land, and there are definitely ways that you can still do nature study even if you do not live on a bunch of property. One idea is that you can create a garden. This doesn't have to be a big, huge garden that feeds your whole family. It could be just 1 or 2 plants. It doesn't have to be anything big. You can observe how the plants grow, how fast they grow, how much sunlight and water they need. All of that is all nature study. You can also put up a bird feeder or a hummingbird feeder. These are really cool. They always attract all sorts of different birds, maybe not even the ones you were expecting. So that's another way you can observe nature from home. You as a family can also go on nature walks together. This can even be in a neighborhood. It doesn't have to be in a super rural area. It can just be in a neighborhood, but you will be amazed once you open your mind to this idea of nature study, how much nature you will observe that you had never noticed before. As a fun field trip, you can also visit something like a park or a nature center together. This is a great way to get out as a family and observe nature somewhere where nature is literally just surrounding you everywhere. In my area, there's actually a really great nature center, and they do guided tours with park rangers. So try to see if there's something like that in your area, because that was really informative for us. And like I said, everyone can do nature study. You don't have to have a massive backyard. You don't have to have a yard at all. You don't have to have any of these other resources. You can simply just observe nature from home. This can honestly be as simple as observing the way that insects react to a porch light. Maybe try looking under rocks and see what critters live under there. I hope you're getting the idea that nature study does not have to be super involved. You don't need a lot. You can do it anywhere. And seriously, if you take nothing else away from this video, I want you to know that nature study is just supposed to be fun and easy. And, your family should do it consistently. That's why I say you don't need a lot. You don't need to live a certain place. You don't need to go places to do nature study. Just try to figure out a good way to do it from your own home, and it will benefit your homeschool greatly. If you want more ideas on what different families do for nature study, Stacey and I actually did a video together of what we do in our nature study in our homeschool. So I will link to that over here, so check that out. See you next time. Happy homeschooling.